everyone, welcome back to NovelsNook. If you're new here, my name's Victoria, and for today I have another recent romance ranked list. So I think for today's video I will be doing from worst to best, because I believe in my first ever edition of doing this kind of series I went from like the best to the worst. But I think I'm going to switch it up for this video and see how that goes and leave the best for last. So if you guys are interested in book videos, book tags, or anything book related, make sure you guys like and subscribe and keep on watching. Starting off at number 10, being the worst, or at least my least liked book on this list, is Does It Hurt? I gave Does It Hurt a 3 stars, and there's a lot of different reasons why I rated it so low. I'm someone who actually enjoyed reading Haunting and Hunting Adeline. I know those books are controversial because they are dark romance. They do have very high list of probably triggers and tropes that people aren't a fan of. And I really wanted to enjoy this book because I had liked reading, Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Was it scarring to read those books? Yeah, of course. They talk about a lot of important, kind of really heavy topics. So that is something to consider with those books. But for this one, I was going in with a clear mind, but I didn't like it. I really enjoyed Enzo, the male main character. I adored him. I love him. I usually always fall in love with the male main characters. There's something about him specifically that I really liked, but I didn't like the female main character. Did not like her in this book at all. Someone who's like very rational in the way they think and analyze things. I don't necessarily like reading about kind of like over emotional or over dramatic main characters. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't like this book. I didn't really like the female main character. First of all, the spicy scenes, some of the very smutty scenes in this were super unrealistic to me as well. Like, involving sharks, it seems so crazy to me. It seems so wild as a concept that like I can't even picture myself in a situation like that. Like, literally no. Like, no means no. And also like the plot twist, or kind of like the plot reveal as we progress through the story and as we learn more about the characters, learn more about their situations, a lot of things is revealed to us, which I kind of had already assumed and guessed in the beginning, which I don't like doing. But sometimes it's very easy to predict where the book is going, and for this book I had gotten it spot on. So that to me was very underwhelming when I got to the end, because endings of books are really important to me. They wrap up the story. They, even if I'm reading a series, like I really want to have a nice conclusive ending for this relationship and the book I'm on, that really wraps up everything, and that I can, be happy with the ending. Even if the ending isn't a happy ending, I want to be happy with the progression of the story and how the author chooses to end the story. For this book, I saw it coming, so to me when I got to the ending it was very underwhelming, and wasn't the biggest fan, because again, it was something I could easily guess in the first 100 pages of the story where this was going, what was going to happen, the plot twist, if you will. So that to me was very underwhelming. So I think going in with high expectations and having a few of these things kind of, pop up as I read, wasn't the biggest fan. So this book got a 3 stars. So now we're going into my 4-star books. I have about, I think, 4 of them. The first 5, like the top 5 on this list, are going to be 5 stars. So let's talk about my 4-star books. At number 9, I have That Trucker Kind of Love. This was like a really quick snapshot romance. Obviously exactly how it sounds. It's about this trucker who happens to be this boy's dad's friend. So the guy is like 20 years old, and then the dad's best friend is, I want to say, in his 40s. So I don't mind the age gap, but it's what you do with the age gap and how you address it and how you kind of play with it a little that can be good or bad. And I feel like in this, even though it was a really quick romance, and you know, I didn't mind that. I really like, you know, fast-paced romances, and I really like, you know, jumping right into it. And it was quick. It was like 100 pages, I think. For the romance and for the plot, I didn't mind it, but the older man kept referring to the guy as my boy, which there was just something about that that bothered me, because it wasn't like, oh, my boy. It was like repeating. It was like said really, really often. Like, I wish I had tracked how many times he said my boy, but at a certain level it was too much. And then of course, like, calling your lover my boy just kind of seems, I don't know, it seems weird, because like if it was reversed, like, oh, that's my girl, it would be different, but saying like that's my boy, I don't know, it was very weird in the context that it was put in, and it was overused. So that was something I didn't like about it, but overall it was good. I liked it, and it was just like a cute little romance. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite, so I gave it a 4 stars. The next one I have is His Secret Obsession. This is another romance, but it's not a short read. The reason I gave this one a 4 stars and I didn't rate it any higher, or, you know, I liked the plot, I liked the characters, but this one was almost like borderline of, should this relationship actually be happening? Because one of the main characters, which I believe his name was Lucas, I think it was Lucas and Charlie, he was very toxic. There's things that are said to the main character that if I put myself in their shoes, and if it was me, I was like, I don't know if I would even A, be in a relationship with this man after the things he's said and done to me, and B, how can you just like forgive and forget? And it's like, oh, okay, like whatever. And I know it is like addressed in the book about the behavior, but I don't know if that's something I could ever get by and like forgive. And I usually remember everything you've said to me, so every hurtful thing said, it's really surprising to see how they can just like brush it off and continue the relationship. So I'm not sure if that part was super realistic to me. And there were some obviously parts where, you know, it was very toxic and it was very like hurtful. And I'm just like, how is he okay with this? You know, like, how can you date him after everything that's been done? So that part of it felt a little bit kind of forced. That level of like building the relationship, being like enemies to lovers. Yeah, I just didn't quite see where that would actually happen, and so I think it fell short for me on that part. And number 7, we have a very taboo romance. I think this is my first book. Like, I obviously read dark romance and I read, you know, romance, so that part to me is fine. This book I think was the most like out there kind of romance I've seen so far. So definitely, if you're going to read this book, know what you're getting into. I don't think I did know what I was getting into. So then at number 7, I have Taming Violet. This is about a girl who seeks her dad. Seeks out her dad, I guess the man who's on her birth certificate. And she discovers that when she finds him, he's not biologically her dad. That the mother was with him at the time and didn't want the actual father's name on the birth certificate. And it will go into details, but she ends up falling in love with this man. So that to me, I think, is always in the back of my mind while reading this book, is that like she thought this was her dad, like some of the things they're doing together, which, you know, isn't a problem. The reason I ended up rating this so high despite the relationship, I really liked the plot. I really liked learning the mystery behind her family, her mother, you know, who her dad actually is. The male main character for me absolutely was one of my favorites. I loved him. I loved everything he did for her. Like, she again wasn't my favorite female main character, but, you know, granted, I understood her situation. But he was amazing. I really liked him, and I really liked him learning more about her story, because the girl really tries to discover the mystery of her life. You know, what happened to my mom, you know, what kind of came about me becoming me. So she really goes on this journey of finding more information, and I think along the way, you know, her falling in love with this guy and them having a relationship was like kind of one thing, and I wasn't quite fond of that, but I really did like the plot, and like I had a lot of sympathy for the guy because we learned so much, and it really pulled at my heartstrings, where he kind of learns everything and discovers things along with the girl. Overall, I really liked it, and it's very taboo, so know what you're getting into, read the triggers, and just know that syrup will never be the same for me ever again, so that's exciting. At number 6, the last 4-star book I have to talk about is from a series, and I'll be talking about the first one, but this is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, Terms and Conditions. I gave this one a 4 stars because as much as I love the brothers in this series. It's Rowan, Declan, and I can't remember the third one's name because I haven't read the third book yet. I kind of forgot about it, and actually now me saying it, I'm gonna go add it to my Kindle after this so I can read it. And I believe the last one is called The Final Offer, maybe. Terms and Conditions, I really liked Iris. This book and this kind of like relationship and my feelings towards the male main character really resemble Twisted Love. So for that book, I believe I gave it a 4 stars, kind of for the same reasons. I really didn't like Alex. It took me a long time to actually like Alex and be okay with the relationship between Ava and Alex. This was kind of the same way. I really loved Iris. I think she was a freaking kick-ass woman. I just feel like she deserved more. She like was settling very hard. You know, obviously he redeemed himself in the end, which is why I gave it 4 stars. I did like this book. I did like the relationship, and I obviously loved the ending. But there was something about him like not getting his shit together for like 300 pages that really bothered me. They each have conditions, literally, terms and conditions. They each have contracts and clauses that need to be met for them to get their inheritance. This is the entire trope of the series. Like, they need to meet this part of their expectations to get whatever. And his was to have a family, and his was to have a wife, fall in love, you know, actually show some kind of human emotion. So again, obviously we knew going in that he wasn't going to be this very, you know, mushy, lovey kind of guy. I was hoping for more because I really loved the first book in this series. I liked this book, but the first one really hit for me and I really adored it. So now we are starting the top 5 romances that I have read recently, and they will all be 5 stars. If you haven't read these, I recommend them, and if you have any romance that you have rated 5 stars, leave it in the comments below because I would love to check them out and love to read them for myself. But at number 5, we have Grumpy Romance. It's literally exactly how it's titled. It is a very grumpy man, grumpy romance. I really liked this book. Give it a 5 stars. This is one of the less spicier books. I actually don't believe it has a spicy scene. I obviously read it quite a while ago, but I don't think there was much spice. And I do believe this is a series, or like a standalone and then there's series, so I haven't actually read anything else from this author. I don't think so. I might dive into the rest of them, but it was nice kind of building on that romance without the smut, because obviously I don't see that a lot. I do read really spicy romances, but it was really interesting to see how their level of intimacy can really, you know, excel and build without that kind of, you know, spice scene. Obviously I think it does show a scene, but I don't think it goes into details. So this was a good book. I gave it a 5 stars, and I recommend, if you guys are, especially if you're looking for romance, that you kind of want to get into romance, but you don't really want that high level of spice, like Does It Hurt? Something I could recommend to someone who's not really looking for that level of, you know, smut. At number 4, we have The Fine Prince. So this is the first book in the Dreamland series. I love this book. There was something about the plot, something about these characters I adored. I absolutely loved it. I loved Rowan. I loved his character development. What a man. What a man. I really liked him, and I loved the female main character. I believe her name was Zara. I loved the relationship. I loved the plot. I really liked seeing their job. So this was his clause, I believe, was about like taking over the Dreamland parks. So it's like an amusement parks. Whoever gave these conditions, which I think was the grandfather. It was so beautifully put together, and so many different parts at the end was just revealed, not only to like Rowan but to Zara, and really seeing how they were kind of meant to be in this connection and their connections to the grandfather and to this park. I just thought the book was really cute. I really enjoyed this one, and I think I'm gonna enjoy the last one a lot because I got to see a little bit of the other brother, and I did really enjoy him and throughout these books as well. So I am excited to read that, and that will probably be on my next or future ranked romance reads. So look for that. But I definitely recommend this series. I believe there is only 3 books, and they're good. You know, even though I didn't give the second book 5 stars, I did really enjoy it. Not as much as the first one, not as much as this one, but I did really enjoy it. So I definitely recommend this series to you guys. At number 3, we have The Brightest Light of Sunshine. I adored on a level I didn't expect. So this was another one of those TikTok, you know, I read the little excerpts and I'm like, oh my god, I need to read this. I ended up really enjoying this book a lot more than I thought I would. It was so precious, and let me tell you what, I usually fall in love with every book guy, right? It's like, oh my goodness. I will tell you, these top 3 books that I have for you, these are my dream boyfriends, right? I love this man. This man in this book was so protective of his sister, and not only protective, but the level of care he showed. Like, he stepped up. He could have been this girl's dad, you know, like he did everything for her, and he just had this kind of overwhelming love for not only the girl but his sister. And that really resonated with me. I really loved reading about that, and I really loved that. And you know, it's like the single dad tropes. I read a lot of single dad tropes, which I have a problem. I probably should, you know, branch out. But the reason I like reading books like that is because I love seeing the relationship between the father and the child. But I really love to see how the female main character comes in and like becomes a part of that family. This is what I really liked, because I believe she was the daughter's like ballet instructor, and it was already cute to see the relationship established between them, and then obviously the brother, and then them coming together and being cute together. Like, I don't know, there's just something so wholesome and beautiful about this book that I really enjoyed, and I can't recommend it enough. I think it was really good, and it's one of those books that I wish I could forget so I could reread it again, but I really liked it. It was definitely 5 stars for me. At number 2, had to pull it from the bookshelf because I absolutely adore this. It is Twisted Games. Obviously. He can't have her, but he's taking her anyway. I am in love with this man. This is a book I wish I could forget and reread it over and over and over and over again. When I tell you I didn't realize how much I liked the bodyguard trope until I read this book, oh my god, he is just so cocky and so arrogant and so like, he's so like stoic. And she's like this humbled princess. I love Bridget. Everything that happened in this book, I love the ending. There's a moment in this book where he shines as a man, shines as a character. I'm obsessed with this book. This is my favorite one in the entire series. I can't get enough of this book and this man. First of all, the fan art and like some of y'all's depiction of him, beautiful, beautiful. And I love this book, and I will forever love this book. I can't get enough of it. I just really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I love the romance. I loved him. I haven't loved a male main character as much as I loved him. Like, there was just something about him. Something like where he says like he can't have her, but he's taking her anyway. Like, he knows he can't do this. Like, he's the bodyguard, right? He can't date his freaking, you know, whatever. He can't be with her. But the lengths he goes and the effort and like the literal dedication of this man to this woman, I can't get enough of. I ate this book up in like 5 hours. Like, I just go feral. I'm feral for this book. Like, there's something about this man that literally does it for me. Like, I love him. Can they make a movie on this? I would die. Like, I would literally die. I just love, I love him, and I love, she's my favorite author, and I freaking love her. So, again, this is not the first book. This is my second favorite. Okay, 5 stars. Let's talk about this man. Again, another, obviously, we have some good, good depictions of right here, what kind of man I like, yeah. Again, ruthless, arrogant. This one on the back, he was arrogant too. There's something about this, there's something about a man who will kneel for his woman. I don't know, I just love reading about men who are like depicted as heartless, like, oh, he's so ruthless, oh, he's so whatever, but get him a woman that he loves, and then you'll see how much of a like a heartless bastard he really is. No, they become absolutely softy teddy bears. I freaking love this book. Oh my goodness. A lot of times, you know, the female main characters ruin it for me. These 2 books, Vivian and Bridget, I love them. I freaking adore these women. And there's something about, like, if you can fall in love with the male main character, that's fine. You know, that's me in every freaking book I read. But can I fall in love with the female main character? That's harder to achieve. You know, because I'm a man's girl. I'm not a woman's girl. Women bother me. There's something about women that I don't vibe with, and that might come from, you know, trauma with, you know, with women, but there's something about me that I put women at a different standard for me. Like, you know, men, it's like, God, you're good? Well, there you go, I like you. Reading some of these books and really finding a, you know, female main character I like is hard for me. I don't find that often. I loved Vivian. There's just something about her and her family, like the way she is with her family, that kind of really resonated with me. Like, she knows they're bad. I feel like she inherently knows they're not good for her, and some of the things that she's done, you know, some of the things they've said to her, she knows it's shit. But at some level, she's like, they're my family, what do I do? And, you know, and Dante comes in, and it's just like, don't let anyone tell you you're anything but amazing, but, you know, the world. And it's just something about that is just so freaking amazing to me. And I love the grumpy romance. I love the forced marriage. I just love him. He's like, yeah, that's my girl, and don't touch her, she's mine. I'm just obsessed with this one. I love this book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This, Twisted Games, one of my favorite books of all time, favorite freaking author of all time. I really love her. I really love this book and everything it had some of my favorite tropes, favorite romance. I really love the characters. I really love seeing Dante's development and his just absolute feral need for Vivian, you know, towards the end. And I just love it. This book was very hard for me to appreciate the other books. So when I read the next book in this King of Pride, I was kind of let down because of how much I love this one, and I went into it with very high standards. It was very much like the fine print. I loved the fine print and I loved their relationship, and then when I read Terms and Conditions, I didn't like it as much. This freaking book, I had read Twisted Love and I really wasn't that big of a fan of it. I liked it. It was one of my 4-star reads for me, but it wasn't my favorite freaking book. I'm currently reading Twisted Lies. So I'm sure that would be my new favorite because Christian Harper just does something to me. But Dante Russo, my fave. So these I highly recommend. They're very popular though, so I'm sure you all have read it. But if you have been debating it and really considering it, these 2 books make the series amazing. So I highly recommend you reading them if you haven't read them already. So yeah, these are my favorite books, and I actually read both of these on Kindle and I had to get the hard copies. I bought the Twisted Love collection actually. King of Sloth is my last one I have of the King of Sin series. I do believe she's either come out with more or she is coming out with the rest soon. So I will get the rest of those as well. And then I'm gonna dive into reading the rest of this series as soon as I finish Twisted Lies, which I don't have right now. I think it's in my bedroom. I'm currently reading it. But yeah, that was my top 10 recent reads, and I kind of like starting from the worst and then ending on my favorites, so I might do that again for the next round. But if you guys like, videos like this, check out my last ranked reads if you haven't watched that one already, and stay tuned for more because I will definitely be dropping another one of these. I primarily only read romance, so this is my ranked romance reads, but I think I might do it if I ever read any other kind of books. I'll definitely do a ranked reads of those specific genres, but I do primarily only read romances, so that's what you're seeing from me. If you guys have any romance recommendations, please leave them down below. I would love to get to reading them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have read any of these books, oh my goodness, I would love to know your thoughts on them. Let me know your guys' favorites, and if you've read multiple of these, where would you rank them as well? But that's all. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and a wonderful 2025. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!